Hey guys, welcome back to Understanding Anxiety with Trace. So today this is kind of like our next practical homework assignment, if you will, and this is the Triggers Worksheet. So of course I'm going to have a Google Drive rich text format file of this. I'll have it linked in the Facebook video comments as well as in the YouTube description. So I'll have this guys available for you to download and to work on. So here's the core concept. This worksheet is designed to help you identify what your triggers are, first off. Of course, we want to find the related patterns that we're taking in our lives. And what I mean by that is that for each trigger that we write down, we want to try and see what physical actions that we're taking in our life that are actually contributing towards this, or what they coincide with, if you will. And then, of course, we're also going to have a third section, which is going to be the needs, the related need to that. So I've got these three. This is, the triggers, the patterns, and the need. So, and this is just a thing that you can print off. You can work on this, whenever you have the chance. But this is kind of the practical aspect of the last couple of videos, where we talked about the introspection, the holes in the bucket, that shift in perspective. That's what this is here to help with. So what I would like for you to do first is you just write down your triggers. You don't necessarily have to write down very small differences between them. If it's kind of the same thing, it's up to you. Whatever you feel is appropriate. But go ahead and just write down your triggers in the first column and say, okay, you know what? I'm triggered when, and I'm just going to use myself as an example. I'm triggered by caffeine. I'm triggered by really salty food. I'm triggered by somebody smoking in the same room as me. I'm triggered by this. I'm triggered by that. Whatever. I'm triggered by driving really late at night. I know, it's crazy. And the thing is not, we don't want to ridicule ourselves or ridicule the anxiety. We're just here to write down what they are. We're not trying to judge it one way or the other at this point. So the next point is that once we've written down those triggers, we want to try to find the related pattern there. And what I mean by pattern is that what actions are happening whenever these triggers are presented, right? So in my case, it's a little bit unique in the sense that it has much more to do with the pattern of my eating habits, what I'm taking into my body, and then also like how tired I am, I guess you could say. Typically, I'm more susceptible in the evening. So if I have a pattern of doing something late at night that oh wow, this is actually causing a trigger for me. So we can identify those, right? So let's say that you have to kind of like go back over some of your previous triggers of when they happened, and you say, okay, you know what? This is something that I was doing in each of these cases, right? And in almost all of my times that I was triggered, I usually hadn't eaten as well or as much as I should have that day, right? So that's like one of those patterns that, okay, my eating has a big effect on my triggers. And that kind of goes back over to, this triangle where we've got focus, physiology, and language. That's the physiology portion of it. So we want to try and go through this and we'll find the related things that we're doing that are actually contributing towards these triggers. The next part of it, of course, is the needs. So with the needs, what we're trying to isolate is we're going to kind of combine this with a needs worksheet and say, my certainty is kind of pretty low, and I've noticed that when I'm feeling even less certain, I'm more susceptible. Or maybe it's about significance. When I'm feeling even less significant, I'm more susceptible to these triggers. And so what we're trying to do is identify which specific needs and which specific patterns are contributing towards those triggers. Like I said, I've been saying this, this is going to be very personal. This is something that only you can find out for yourself. I can help you guys on an individual basis if that's what you want. But ultimately, this is your life, and you're going to know better than anybody else what patterns you're taking, what your need levels are. But it's very important. You have to be honest with yourself. I'm not grading you on this. I'm not judging you on this. This is for you to do at your own time. And it's important that you not judge yourself on it, that you not berate yourself. The point of this is not to find fault or to find blame. It's very easy when we start to say, oh man, I shouldn't be doing this all the time, or gosh man, why can't I take better care of myself, or why can't I do this better? That's not what we're trying to do. We want to stay as open and as receiving as possible to this. If we start to be hard on ourselves, it's not going to help the situation at all. And I know that's not easy for everybody. We all struggle with it, the beating up ourselves. But really, we're just trying to be honest with ourselves with what's going on. We have to learn to be vulnerable with ourselves and be honest. So once we kind of have this filled out, then we can kind of relate this back to that introspection video where we talk about, finding the root causes. This is the tool of how we do that. Not everybody is the same, not everybody thinks the same way. For me, it's very easy for me to think about things on my own time without having to write stuff down. But I know a lot of people, it's a lot easier if they have it written down. So that's kind of what this is here for. And what this is going to do is if we combine our introspection, if we combine our opportunity mindset, so we start to change our focus towards opportunity, and we start to change our patterns, which is the physical side here. And then we look at our needs and say, okay, I can change this. I can, this is what it's kind of boiling down to. Then we're able to start to change our language a little bit. Then we can say, okay, now I understand what it is that's kind of causing these triggers. I understand where this is coming from. I understand why I'm being, triggered right now, why this experience is happening. And so we're changing our entire state by utilizing these tools I've given you to where you can actually start to view the entire process of anxiety completely differently. And ultimately that's the goal, is because this whole course is called Understanding Anxiety. And that's what we're trying to do. We want to get to the point where we say, I understand this trigger is happening because of this pattern that's, here and here and here. And I understand that that's related to these two needs. So I understand why this anxiety is happening. Now the trick is we have to also make sure that we're not just leaving it at that. We have to combine that with our opportunity mindset. I understand why this is happening, and I see that it's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for change and improvement. And then we're taking physical action to change those patterns a little bit. We're going to build up that snowball effect, right? So you can see how with this practical portion of stuff that I've given you, with this introspection, we're actually addressing each of these points on the the state of being, so that we're changing our state during the anxiety, when we're not feeling anxious but we know it's there, when we're in a panic attack. And as we're able to change our state, then we can take more effective action and learn how to deal with it. So as I said before, guys, this is very, it's very personal. If you have any questions, you can message me directly. I'm here for you guys. If there's any part of these last, 3-4 videos that I've gone over that you're having a hard time with, feel free to put a comment in there. Let me know what you'd like me to clarify. But in any case, don't feel rushed. I'm putting out these videos fast right now, but this is going to be at your own speed. It's okay to watch ahead a little bit. I probably wouldn't go too far, but watch a video, spend a couple of weeks looking at it, trying to work on that stuff. When you feel like you've got a good grasp, come back and watch the next video. The videos will be here, I promise. Well, with all that said, guys, I wish you well. If you have any questions, message me, and I'll see you next time.